Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, July 9th, coming to you live from Seoul. I'm Kim Mo-gyan. Before we begin, these are the stories we're following at the top of the hour. South Korea raises its social distancing level to the highest in the four-tier system for 2 weeks, beginning Monday. This comes as the country reported more than 1,300 cases Friday. The 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games will start in a couple of weeks, but do so without any spectators, as a recent surge in virus cases forced Japan to declare another state of emergency in the capital. And U.S. State Department spokesman Ned Price slammed North Korea's cyber activities, claiming they threaten the U.S. and other countries around the world. Price emphasized the need for global cooperation to tackle cyber threats. Our top story this morning, as South Korea once again reports record-breaking numbers of new daily infections, the government has decided to raise the social distancing level of the capital area to the highest, level 4, beginning Monday. For more on the breaking news, we have our Han Sung-woo on the line for us. Sung-woo, give us the details.
Bo-gyun, the government, as expected, has decided to place Seoul and the surrounding area under level 4 of its new 4-tier social distancing scheme. Starting Monday, for 2 weeks, private gatherings of up to only 2 people are allowed after 6 p.m. Level 4 also means attendance to weddings and funerals will be limited to relatives only. In addition, no spectators will be allowed at sports events, and places of worship can only host virtual services. Workplaces, meanwhile, are advised to have 30% of their employees working from home. As for public facilities, late-night entertainment facilities like Hold'em pubs and nightclubs will remain closed, while restaurants, cafes, and singing rooms can operate until 10 p.m. At a briefing on Friday, Prime Minister Kim Boo-kyum apologized to the public for the inconvenience the strengthened measures will bring, but stressed they are necessary to contain the spread.
But we ask people to refrain from attending private gatherings immediately starting today.
This comes as the country reported another record-breaking 1,316 daily new COVID-19 cases. 1,236 of those cases were locally transmitted, with more than 960 coming from the capital region. That's all I have for now, Mo-gyun. Back to you.
Thank you for the update, Sung-woo. Now, drug makers Pfizer and BioNTech are developing a COVID-19 booster shot directly targeting the Delta variant. CNBC reported Thursday that the companies believe that getting a third shot on top of their current 2-dose vaccine should provide the highest levels of protection against all known variants. Depending on U.S. regulatory approval, clinical studies could start as early as August. And numerous countries continue to grapple with the more transmissible Delta variant of COVID-19. It's now the dominant strain in the U.S. and is also responsible for a new surge in infections across many parts of the world. Our Kim Hyo-san tells us more.
The Delta variant, known to be more transmissible than the original COVID-19 strain, is sweeping the U.S., becoming the dominant strain.
The Delta variant is spreading rapidly throughout the country. This week, the Delta variant is estimated to be the most prevalent variant in the United States, representing over 50% of sequenced samples across the country, up from 26% from the week ending June 19. And in some parts of the country, the percentage is even higher.
Citing data released by Johns Hopkins University, CNN says 24 states have witnessed a rise of at least 10% in new infections over the past week. Against this backdrop, U.S. health authorities are highlighting the need for a vaccination, explaining that unvaccinated people remain susceptible to the virus and are particularly at greater risk for severe illness or death. Europe is also grappling with the Delta variant, with France urging its nationals against traveling to Spain or Portugal. While the country currently allows its people to travel to all other EU member states as long as they are fully vaccinated or present a negative PCR test document, the decision was made as the Delta mutation has become the dominant strain in Portugal. Spain is also witnessing its rapid spread, with the Delta variant becoming dominant in at least 4 regions, including Madrid. Other parts of the world are also being hit hard, with Iran's daily tally of cases surpassing 23,000 on Thursday. That's a high not seen in nearly 3 months. Mexico also saw a new record on Thursday, with over 8,500 people testing positive for COVID-19. Mexico's health authorities say the country is experiencing a third wave, and young adults in their 20s and 30s account for a sizable proportion of the new cases. Kim Hye-san, Arirang News.
The Tokyo Olympics will officially take place without spectators. The organizers made the decision Thursday, claiming they had no other option as a resurgence in COVID-19 cases forced Japan to declare a state of emergency in Tokyo. Lee Seung-jae reports.
The 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games, already postponed once due to the pandemic, will start in a couple of weeks' time, but will do so without any fans as a recent surge in virus cases forced Japan to declare another state of emergency in the capital that will run throughout the duration of the Games.
We wanted to have full stadiums so that people from the community could get involved in welcoming athletes so that we can have the full presentation of the power of sports. However, we are now faced with rising COVID-19 infections, so we unfortunately have no other choice but to hold the Games in a limited way.
The announcement was also made by Japan's Olympic minister, who said the decision was reached after a meeting between the International Olympic Committee, the International Paralympic Committee, the Organizing Committee, as well as the Tokyo and the Central Japanese government. Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga stressed the importance of the decision, saying it was essential to prevent Tokyo being slammed by the highly contagious Delta variant. People will also be asked not to gather for events on public roads, including the marathon and the triathlon. However, officials say some venues outside the greater Tokyo metropolitan area will allow a small number of spectators. With the declaration, U.S. First Lady Joe Biden's team is assessing whether it's still feasible for her to attend as part of the U.S. delegation. The announcement comes as the East Wing said in June that they have been in discussions about having Mrs. Biden attend the opening ceremony. However, despite the resurgence of cases in the Japanese capital, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters Thursday that the White House fully supports American athletes traveling to Tokyo to compete. While Japan has not seen an explosive COVID-19 outbreak like many other countries, it's inching closer to 1 million cases and nearly 15,000 deaths. On top of that, a slow vaccine rollout means only a quarter of Japan's population has had at least one vaccine shot. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
U.S. President Joe Biden claims America's nearly 20-year war in Afghanistan will end on August 31st.
We did not go to Afghanistan to nation build, and it's the right and the responsibility of the Afghan people alone to decide their future and how they want to run their country.
President Biden said he's confident Afghanistan, whose security forces the U.S. has trained for over 2 decades, can defend themselves from the advancing Taliban, and that speed is safety in withdrawing American troops. He also said he would not risk lives of another generation of U.S. soldiers with no reasonable expectation of achieving a different outcome. 6 people have been arrested in connection with the assassination of Haiti's president, while 7 other suspects were killed in a gunfight with police. Police say they're still hunting at least 2 more suspects thought to be involved. Among the arrested, 2 are said to be Haitian American, with one of them reportedly a former bodyguard at the Canadian Embassy in Port-au-Prince. The probe into the assassination has revealed the president was shot a dozen times. The nation's top intel agency revealed a slew of information related to North Korea. Pyongyang may have been behind a hacking attack on South Korea's think tank on nuclear power. There was no major leak following the security breach. Yoon Jung-min fills us in.
South Korea's Atomic Energy Research Institute was the target recently of cyber attacks for a period of 12 days, presumably by North Korea. That's according to the National Assembly Intelligence Committee on Thursday, citing a briefing by the National Intelligence Service. The institute filed a damage report on June 1st, and an investigation is underway, but it says there has been no leak of core information. Lawmakers on the committee revealed that damage from state-backed cyber attacks increased by 9% in the first half of this year compared to the second half of last year. Another target of a presumed North Korea-linked cyber attacks, according to opposition party lawmaker Ha Tae-kyung, has been Korea Aerospace Industries, which develops and manufactures civilian and military aircraft. Representative Ha said also that Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering was hacked last November, but reportedly not by the North. The intelligence authorities also updated the situation in the North that its trade volume has plunged to a quarter of the pre-pandemic level, and the prices of condiments and medicine have sharply increased. The Intelligence Committee added that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is cracking down on South Korean ways of speaking and dressing to bolster its own form of socialism. For example, the North has banned women from calling their husbands oppa, a term often used in South Korea, but instead must use the word for darling. Representative Ha said the regime defines those who speak in the South Korean style as the enemy, apparently targeting the younger generation. The lawmaker added that the regime is concerned about the possibility of its younger generation taking on the appearance of traitors, which could threaten the existing power structure. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
Now, in a related note, U.S. State Department spokesman Ned Price said Thursday that North Korea's, quote, malicious cyber activities threaten the U.S. and other countries around the world. He said that financial institutions in particular are vulnerable to what he called cyber espionage. Yonhap News reports that the U.S. has been in pursuit of North Korean entities suspected of stealing money from the international financial system. Price emphasized the need for global cooperation, saying it's vital for countries' network defenders and the public to work together to tackle the cyber threat posed by the isolated regime. The IAEA has reached a deal with Japan on the scope of technical assistance needed to monitor and review the planned release of what Tokyo calls treated water from the Fukushima power plant. The agency said its involvement in the process will give confidence in Japan and beyond that it's being carried out in accordance with international safety standards protecting people and the environment. Japan intends to start the release in about 2 years. The entire operation could take decades. Now, some exciting news for fans of K-pop boy band BTS and the movie Parasite. A VR exhibition kicked off at the UNESCO headquarters in Paris, where fans can watch a BTS concert and immerse themselves into the scenes of the Oscar-winning movie. Our Shin Yeun tells us more.
It's a chance for fans to see their favorite K-pop stars on stage or join the cast of a Korean movie. All they need is a VR headset that takes them right into the middle of the action. UNESCO and South Korea's Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism on Tuesday launched a VR exhibition at UNESCO's headquarters in Paris. The event, called Korea Cubically Imagined, was organized by the Korea Creative Content Agency to let visitors engage with South Korea's culture using virtual reality. One of the highlights of the exhibition is the online concert, BTS Map of the Soul 1. Visitors can use VR headsets to watch the performance from all angles or dance inside an open cube with 3 LED screens showing life-size BTS members. Visitors can also immerse themselves in the scenes from the movie Parasite. They can visit the living room and the secret basement of the wealthy Park family. Or they can see what it's like to be nearly flooded in the Kim family's half-basement apartment. The event was launched to celebrate the International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, and its launch date coincided with the 71st anniversary of South Korea joining UNESCO. The UNESCO Assistant Director General for Culture said the VR exhibition shows how successfully K-culture has spread around the world, and he anticipated that this exhibition will bring the world closer.
I am confident that our shared commitment to culture and creativity will keep bringing us together toward the achievement of shared goals.
Korea Cubically Imagined will run until July 16th. After that, it will be available online for fans around the world to enjoy. Parts of the exhibition will also be held at the Korean Cultural Center in Paris from July 21st for 3 more weeks. Shin Yeun, Arirang News.
Welcome. It's time for The World Now, bringing you some of the most interesting news from around the globe. I'm Ji-young. Lapporten, a U-shaped valley in Swedish Lapland, is known for its marvelous views. But 4 German slackline walkers made it even more jaw-dropping as they completed death-defying stunts at a height of 600 meters. One of the slackline walkers who made it across the line without falling said he just focused on reaching the end.
So when I got closer to the anchor of this line, I screamed loudly. I don't really know why. It's maybe a mix of emotions.
And the group have set a new world record for balancing and walking across the tightrope, measuring 2,130 meters across. Highlining is a team sport, and the world record is shared by all team members. England soccer fans climbed on buses and telephone boxes as overjoyed fans celebrated through the night on Wednesday following the team's historic victory over Denmark. The win sends them to the Euro 2020 final, their first time to reach the final of a major football tournament since the World Cup in 1966. After a goal from Harry Kane in extra time secured the team's 2-1 victory, supporters leaving Wembley Stadium were very proud.
Amazing, amazing. What a game. Come on, England. Lost my voice, can't speak. Come on, England.
England fans are now looking forward to Sunday's final with Italy, who have gone unbeaten for almost 3 years. A baby Sumatran orangutan, one of the world's most endangered great apes, has been born. Chester Zoo in northern England welcomed the baby on June 19th, and the tiny newcomer is now exploring the world. Primate experts at the zoo say they haven't been able to figure out the sex of the youngster yet, as it is clinging tightly to its mom. The zoo said the little one is incredibly special, as there are only about 14,000 of these critically endangered apes remaining in the wild.
Good morning. A monsoonal front is over waters south of Jeju Island, so while the island will be seeing more monsoon rain through Sunday, everywhere else will get break from the monsoon rain, but there could be heavy sporadic showers for inland regions, and it could pour down when it does start to rain. And what about the heating up temperatures? Heat wave advisories have been issued in Daegu and its surrounding areas, as well as parts of Gyeonggi-do province, with an expected high of more than 30 degrees Celsius this afternoon, but humidity will make it more uncomfortable. Afternoon highs will be similar to yesterday's, Seoul topping out at 29 degrees. Chuncheon, Gwangju, Jeju will be topping out at 30 degrees Celsius. So it's going to be a hot and humid summer day, conditions that can easily cause food poisoning, so please be extra careful. A similar weather pattern lingers through the weekend, then steamy heat next week and possibly some tropical nights as well. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the weather conditions around the world.
And that will do it for us at this hour on Arirang News. We'll be back at noon Korea time, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching and goodbye.